Welcome everybody to another episode of the Internationalie podcast. Before we start, let me talk a little bit about the podcast. So, the Internationalie podcast is going to be a space where different international students, prospective ones, as well as current international students, could get a glimpse into the life of international students in the US or abroad. This week, I'm joined by my very, very dear friend and honorable roommate, Alda. Welcome to the show, Alda.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you. Finally, we're doing this after 2 years. So
I know.
it's been a long time coming. So I'm very, very happy and excited for this episode. Before we start, I'm going to talk a little bit about you. So, Alda is from Indonesia, and she studied her master's in human rights at Columbia University in the US and psychology at Universitas Nusa Cendana. Did I say that right?
You're almost right on the pronunciation, but it's
Okay.
Universitas
Uh-huh.
Nusa Cendana.
Okay, that part. Okay. For her undergraduate degree. Currently, she's working at Plan International Indonesia as project manager. Plan International is an NGO focusing on fulfillment of children's rights and equality for girls. At Plan, she managed a project called Girls Football, focusing on integrating sport as a platform to promote girls' leadership and transform the community into a safe and equal space. Would you like to add more to your bio?
No, I think you did a fantastic job in introducing me. Thank you very much.
All right, I'm glad. Okay, so the title of this episode is Dealing with Roommates. So, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear roommates?
Of course, you.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, but the second thing,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I think the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about roommate is kind of changed as well. Like before, like I went to Colombia and then after. So I think we should talk about the
The
before
before and
first.
after. Okay, let's
Right,
do it.
right.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So before, I think it would be something new. That's something that would kind of make me anxious because as someone who I was lucky enough that like growing up, I have my own space because I'm the only girl in my family, so I have my own room for as long as I could remember. So yeah, I think for the longest time that kind of, and I like that, like it doesn't mean that I do not like to hang out with people, but like I like the fact that I have my own space somewhere where like I can dictate, I guess, and have like the authorization to whatever goes within that space.
Mm-hmm.
um so I think before like moving to New York, um it wasn't particularly that like I'm really scared about having roommates back then, but it was just like I was a little bit anxious about it because I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna be sharing spaces with, well, technically you still have your own room, but still, um with strangers, I guess, at that point. So yeah, it was something that I'm a little anxious about, but I think afterwards, kudos to you.
Oh.
um it slightly changed, in terms of that it was something that made me anxious before, and now it has turned into something that um like I think makes me see friendship in a different ways, because I guess I was lucky enough that the term roommate has also correlated with the terms friendship, for me. uh so yeah, I think there's like slightly, not slightly, but like there's a big change going from like what we was 2 years ago and then what it is after 2 years.
Mm. Wow. Wow. Look at that. Oh my god. I'm so happy that you being very anxious in the beginning living with strangers has turned into a beautiful friendship 2 years later. And I think
Mm-hmm.
similarly for me, like when I hear like roommates, I think of like the horror stories like people talk about where like like they cannot like stand the people they're living with, like they have to change houses. Like I've heard so many of these stories, and when I was in college I had a roommate for 1 year, and it was a good relationship that we had, and we ended up being friends but not really close enough where like I still talk to her to this day, but we were very cordial. But I realized after that year I was like, oh, I actually need my own space. And so for the next 3 years in college I did not have roommates. And so for grad school, when I found out that I had to have roommates because New York is expensive to live on your own, newsflash. So I was like, oh, okay, so now I'm gonna have to start living with roommates. But yeah, and similarly to you, I think my nervousness and the uncertainty surrounding roommates definitely changed when I met you
Mm-hmm.
guys. So let's talk about how we met.
Yeah, Ruth, let's talk about how we met.
Yeah, Alda, go ahead.
Um, yeah, so for everyone who's listening, I met Ruth through an app. Just like how everyone met in New York. No, but it
It's
wasn't
not
an
a
app. I think
dating
it
app.
was a
We
web.
have to clarify.
I mean, at that point, it should be because the way that I was selling
Honestly,
myself,
honestly.
you would think it was a dating app. No, but we met in like a roommate
Yeah,
website
it was
thing.
a
Yeah,
Columbia
Columbia.
off-campus marketplace website. Yes,
Yeah. Yes. I think I sent you a message, or did you? I
hmm
think I sent you a message, right?
I think you did. Yeah, because I
Yeah. So
posted
the
that I was looking for roommates or something.
right. Yeah. So the
Yeah.
way that the website work is, you can post, you can create a profile for yourself, and then say a little bit about you, and then what you are looking for, in a roommate. And then you can also like see other people profile, and then like you can send each other message, so basically like
Mhm.
dating app.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sent you a message,
Mhm.
not to put your ego down, but I sent a lot of people a message. At that point I
Wow.
was just
So I'm not
no, but I
special. Is
was
that what you're
just so
saying?
desperate,
Yeah.
because as you
Same,
said
bro.
that, like,
Yeah.
yeah, like apartments in New York are too expensive to for you,
hmm
for, or at least for me and Ruth, I guess, to afford it ourselves. So we have to find roommates. And I think at that moment it was already like 3 weeks or like a month before
Before
like
we
the
had to
date
start.
that we were supposed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was a little stressed about it at that moment. Like in my head, I was just, let me just send as many messages I could to anyone who, seems okay enough. And in that, I feel like in that website, everyone said that they're clean, they're nice, they're friendly, all of
Of
this.
course.
Um, yeah, but I send you a message, and then I think you reply to the message, and then we start talking, and then you introduce me to Malal, and then we get into a group chat. But I think
Yeah.
before that, we had a phone call,
We
right?
had a FaceTime. Yes, we FaceTimed,
Yes,
which is
we
crazy
did.
to think about. I was in
Um,
Ethiopia. You're in
I
Indonesia.
know. Yeah, I didn't even remember what did we talk about. I think it was just like introducing ourselves, which I was at
Yeah.
that moment, like it felt like an interview. It felt like a like a job interview.
Yeah.
Um, which to some extent it was.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, and then we start a group chat with Malal, who is our, should I say her, like people's name
Yeah, and
in here?
other.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so. They have waived their rights for public information. But
Oh
go ahead.
right. Okay. So M, should
Yeah.
I
After you already said her name,
had
yeah, sure. Go
another.
ahead.
We'll cut that part.
Okay.
But yeah, and then
I won't cut it.
there's a lot of things happening, but at the end we found like the other two, and then it become five people who was looking for apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and then we
Mm-hmm.
get the apartment like a week or two before we were supposed to
Mm-hmm.
move in.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That just that for me as you were talking, I was like, oh my god, this is such a beautiful love story unfolding. I met you online, and then we're talking, and then, like, you introduced me to these other people. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, this is actually how it works in real life. Anyways, but yeah, no, similar to you, I think that first FaceTime call for me was like, okay, because I actually do remember what we talked about, because I was stressed about the visa. You were like, oh no, I'm already done with that. I'm stressed about housing. I was like, oh, okay. And then we're talking about housing, but for us, we were international and we were not in the
Mm.
country, let alone the city. So trying to find a place, thousands of miles away was just so daunting and so stressful. And so I was just, yeah. So our other roommate, I saw her profile as well and reached out to her because she was Ethiopian. I was like, okay, at least let's, try to help each
Mm.
other. And so she also responded and put us in a group chat. Thank God for that. And so because she was in the US, I was like, okay, at least there is someone there who's also, as
Yeah.
desperate as us to try to find this place. But everything worked out, to be honest. I'm very, very grateful that we ended up having that place, and yeah, and ended up being roommates. So what do you remember about the first time you came to New York, to the apartment?
Yeah, well, not only that you were the first person that I reached out to, you were also the first person I met in person.
Yeah.
Um, let
Yep.
that be known. Um, yeah, no, so I arrived really late. I think like my flight landed at 12 or something, and then
Yeah.
with custom and immigration, it took like another hour or
Mm-hmm.
so, and then it took like another hour to go from the airport to our apartment. And so it was late at night, and I like so in the taxi, I was talking to the driver, and then I mentioned where I like where I'm supposed to live, like my apartment and all, and then we've passed by this specific area, which is like I think like 5 blocks from where we live,
Mm-hmm.
um where like in the street like it would be some sketchy things going on, and I mean it's this is like 2 a.m. so,
Yep.
and it's New York,
Yeah.
that's the time where all the sketchy things are happening. So that was, and I remember looking at the GPS thing in the car, and it says like 3 minutes away, and I was
Yep.
like, perfect, right. And then I didn't say anything to my taxi driver, but he would start mentioning about like, oh yeah, you wanted to like avoid this area, if you could help it, especially at night, and you just, it's important to know where you're going and blah blah blah. And I was just like, okay, um, yeah. So it was definitely an interesting first impression
Mm-hmm.
of New York, and I was just like, because I mean the area where we live. So okay, so a little background. Like before I moved in, I also joined like a group chat with like other Indonesian friends, and it was really helpful because like like you have people who have been lived here for some times as well, so they could like let you know about like
Mm-hmm.
housing and all of that. Um, so I mean, of course, there's some warning about like, oh, which area to avoid, which area
Yeah.
to like, it's like good, whatever, whatever. Um, so yeah, in that moment, I was like, okay, I mean, this should be fine. I mean, it's like 3 minutes away from like where everyone is, saying that. Or at least from what my taxi driver is saying that like, oh, don't go here like late at night, which I wasn't planning to. And then yeah, but then afterward, I remember I was just worried because I arrived at night, and then I didn't have any key or anything, and at that moment I was even worried that the apartment doesn't exist. 'Cause at this point, I mean, no one has seen the apartment. I guess you have like at
Except
that point,
me.
but I
Yeah.
like before
I
I
think I
know,
was
but
just,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
for like a
But like,
day.
like I mean, before that, I was like,
Yeah.
we might go, and then the apartment doesn't exist, and
Yeah.
everyone's scamming me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, I was a little worried about that, and it was late at night. So it was, or at least like I was like, oh my god, I asked her a very big favor already, because now she have to stay up until 2 a.m. just to like open the door for me, which is I was already felt really bad about. And I was like, oh my god, if she like accidentally fall asleep, which I mean I wouldn't be mad about, but like what should I do? Because yeah.
Nothing. You
But
literally could
anyway,
not do anything. Yeah.
shout out to you
Yeah, thank you.
for staying up until 2 a.m. and then you
Mm-hmm.
opened the door for me. I think at that moment there were some people who were outside our apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, I think you got scared a little bit as well, because I remember like you opened the door because I was still in the car. In my defense though, I was still in the car because the taxi driver was the one who was kind of scared, I guess, because he was like, "Okay, just stay here until like your friends get out."
Oh
And
my
I'm like,
god.
"Okay, sir."
Oh my god.
Because he was like, "Just stay here until your friends get out." And
Yeah.
then you come out, and I think you didn't see me because I was still in the
Yeah.
car, and then you were just
Yeah.
seeing like the people who were sitting outside our building. And I don't know if you got scared or something, so you got back in and then you texted me.
Yeah, okay, wait, hold on. Let me
Did you have
clarify.
anything to add to
Let me
that?
clarify what happened. Okay, so I think it was the same day that I moved in. I was staying with a friend in Brooklyn, but then I went to our apartment that same day,
Mm.
and it was very hot. It was summer in New York. It was August, so I was wearing shorts, and I put an alarm and I went to sleep, and then I woke up. Thank God, because I could have fallen asleep. But then when you texted me, I went downstairs and I didn't see you. I was literally gonna go outside, but then I was wearing shorts and I was like, oh my god, like I'm wearing shorts at like 2 a.m. I was like, let me go back inside because I didn't think I was dressed appropriately for outside. Okay, that was what happened.
Right.
And in Harlem, which is where we lived, like our building was on 125th Street, and so there were a lot of people at odd hours of the night, and so that is also why, I was like, okay, let me go inside the apartment and wait for her because I clearly did not see you in the car.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess we can mention where we live because now we don't live there anymore, so
Exactly. So
no
I
one
said,
can come looking for us.
yeah, nobody can get
Um.
so many apartments.
Yeah. Yeah, but then I met you, and you helped me with my back and everything, and it was really
Can I
nice.
say
I was just
something
really
about
grateful.
something about your bag? So me, I came all the way from Ethiopia. I have these two big suitcases, and I put them in my small, tiniest, room, and like my room is already full because there's two suitcases. Alda, on the other hand, comes with like two carry-ons, and I was like, "Where's the rest of your stuff?" And she's like, "This is it." I'm like, "What? You came all the way from Indonesia to live in New York, and you only bring two carry-ons and a backpack? Please explain how that works."
Okay. Okay, but I was, in my defense, I know that I was gonna live there for 2 years or a year and a half. So I
Yeah.
was like, let me not bring a lot of stuff because would have a lot of like more stuff to um bring back. And I mean I was happy that that's the only thing that I bring. And like okay, I didn't bring two carry on, okay? I bring
Yeah, you did.
1 24 inches. It's
Oh
like
my god.
one size up the carry on size, I believe, and then one carry on. Um
Alda, it was a carry-on. It
Okay,
looked
no,
like a
no, it
carry-on.
wasn't. It was
Yeah, it
24
was.
inches. Carry on
Oh
supposed to be
my.
20. I bring one
Oh,
carry
wow.
on and then one 24 inches. But technically, the carry on is empty because I just bring it. So I have like a carry on.
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
I only put like one winter jacket in it, and technically,
And it wasn't even
I can
full.
carry the winter. It,
Yo,
not
this is
really, because
another
I mean,
level.
no, because I know that like, I mean, not that I'm gonna be buying a lot of stuff, but at that moment I was like, okay, I mean, I'm gonna buy more clothes anyway. So, and it was still summer in that time, so I
Yeah,
didn't think that I should bring like a lot of stuff already because I know
yeah,
I'm gonna get winter stuff from the US anyway. So what's when Indonesia is hot, like if I buy winter stuff, then I would even, like, why would I need that? It's not as if I have it already. like I still have to buy it even if I bring it from here. So might as well
Yeah,
just.
but it just blew my mind. And I think after living with you, I've also like learned how to pack lightly, but not to the extent where
You
I'm
are
only
very
taking.
welcome. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
so me
thank
and my two small suitcases.
you. Yes.
Um,
Uh-huh.
Ruth was helping me with my two small suitcases. And yeah, and you even, oh my god, she did the sweetest thing ever, bro. She even left me dinner. I think you bought dinner. Or
I
you
don't
make
remember.
dinner. You bought dinner. No, no, no. You bought dinner, and then you set aside some for me.
Oh, I did? I don't
Yes,
remember.
you did. You did. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, this is so sweet. I didn't think
Oh,
I had any because I mean it was so late and I was so tired and I was like,
yeah.
but the gesture
Oh,
was so sweet. In that
oh
moment, I know
my.
we're gonna get along. No, I'm kidding.
And we did. Wow. Food is the way to your heart,
No,
huh? See, I knew.
I already knew that we're gonna get along from our
Mm.
first FaceTime call. Is what I
Mm.
was about to say.
Mm. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. That just brought me back so many memories. I'm so glad
I
we talked
know.
about how we first met.
I feel like
And
no one's gonna find this entertaining to
and
listen. So I
that's
feel like
okay.
this
I mean,
is such.
this is for
This
us.
is too personal that people that are listening are like, yeah, this is not
No,
a
no, no.
podcast.
No, it is definitely a podcast.
Okay.
Let's talk about you know, how you kind of realized that your roommates. Okay, and then there, three other people also joined us, and we became an apartment of five girls, and we're all going to school. I wanted to ask you like when the shift happened for you from like being, former roommates to like, oh my god,
Hmm.
like these people are my friends.
Wow. Well, it hasn't happened yet, but let me lie and say that. No.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
Both of you to assume that things has changed. Um. Yeah. No. Oh my god. Oh my god. They gonna laugh at me for talking about this. But I think the big shift. Mm, it wasn't like a big shift, or like, it's not as if like I had like a moment of realization that like, oh my god, we're gonna get along. Um, but when we first had dinner, um, like remember we went to, I think it was an Indian restaurant nearby
No,
school.
it was an Ethiopian restaurant. It was Ethiopian New Year's.
No,
September
remember?
11th?
No, 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 no. I think even
Yes. That was the
before
first
that. Like,
restaurant we all went
remember?
to.
It was, oh
What?
right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was Ethiopian restaurant.
Wow.
Was it?
Wow. No, the Indian
I thought
restaurant
no.
we
In my
went
head, I
for,
was like, we were about to go to an Ethiopian restaurant, but then it closed. So then we just like look for a restaurant nearby, and
that
there
did
was like an
happen.
Indian
That
restaurant.
happened, but that was like after, like a month or 2 months later. But that exact thing happened. I do remember. It happened.
Okay, so
But
I
that wasn't our first dinner. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, but so our first dinner was Ethiopian restaurant, like the one where we took the photo.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, okay. So I think it was that because it's not so much about what happened when we get dinner, but I think it was like after, because I think it was like when then we went home and then we haven't had any furniture whatever, so we just have this like
Yeah.
big living space. And
Yeah.
then I think we were just start dancing in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't remember like who started it, but then
Yeah.
some people start to put on like Ethiopian music, and then like we
Yeah.
start exploring all of these different dances from like Indonesia and Pakistan, and then I didn't think that we did any Korean one. Poor Hannah. Um, but yeah, no, I think it was, it's not
Mm.
again, like it's not that like I have a really realization at that moment, but I think when I think about our friendship again, I think that moment like plays a big role of like
Mm.
I think I start to realize that, like, okay, like, we might gonna be okay
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
along the
Yeah.
way, because I think at that moment we only know each other for a week, right?
For like 2 weeks, I would say, because that was like
Really?
September 11th, so it might even be 3 weeks by then,
In my
right?
head,
Because
like, for some
we
reason
moved
it's
in.
even earlier than that. Okay, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think that, because, like, I think in that moment, like, it really, not really shown, but it's just like nice to have people who, like, wanted to listen to, like, whatever you wanted to say, because I think in that moment it's like people, you're introducing some part of yourself, like, in terms of your
Mm-hmm.
culture, like, well,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. And I think it's nice to have that space where you can see that they're willing to share some part of them, and they're also willing to listen about yourself, which is, yeah, which is very nice. And then, um yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
I, as you were talking, like that moment played in my mind because I specifically remember it after you started talking about it, but I don't think it was the memory that I was thinking about. Um, but I think when you look at it from the outside, it's like five girls. Two are from the same country, okay, fine, but like one grew up in the US, one is from
Boring,
Indonesia,
but okay.
and then one is from Pakistan, one is from South Korea. And so we have these like four or five different nationalities merging into one household. And we were able
Mm,
to not only get along with each other, we were able to form friendships and become very, very close. And for a lot of people, even some of our friends from school and even my parents and other friends, they were very, very surprised that we became very, very close really quick. And I wanted to ask
yeah.
you, is that abnormal? Like, what was it in the friend dynamic or like in the roommate dynamics of like five people that allowed us to become very close really quick?
Good question. um I don't know, but yeah, I mean, well, bro, maybe we should write a book about
How to become friends
the
with your
secret.
roommate 101?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, oh my god, I genuinely don't know, because, like, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, okay, because people are willing to compromise, but it's not really
Mm,
that as well, because I mean, it's not as if we never fight, or, like, or not willing to compromise,
right,
because that
right.
happens a lot as well.
Yeah.
um yeah, what do you think?
Okay, I'm the one asking these questions. It's my podcast. No, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, I need some
Uh,
time to think. Okay.
okay, okay. Think. For me, to be honest with you, I think it was a mix of like having cultural tolerance, which is like, okay, like not saying like, oh, my whatever I have is better than the other person. I think we were all very like open-minded and like curious to learn about
Mm,
each other's cultures, where we come from. And I think for, at least for me, I always like enjoyed getting to know people and their different backgrounds and like their stories. And so having the opportunity to know someone very, very like deeply and like closely, for me that was an opportunity for me to understand where that person came from. And the thing with roommates is that when you have friends, like you go out, spend time with your friends and come back home, right, to your own space. But with your roommates, when you come back home, they're there. So this, friendship is extended to like 24/7. I mean, unless you have classes and other things, like these are people who are living with you, who, have seen you in your worst state, have seen you in your best state. Like these people have been with you for a lot of like life's transition as you're going through it. And so I feel like
mm,
at some point, like you can't pretend, like, because even if you come back home, they're there. And so that level of understanding and being open-minded, I think, helped us. I don't know, what do you think?
mm. Yeah. No, I agree that definitely plays a big role. The part about culture,
Mm.
which I think kind of correlate with I said before as well about like how I think the first moment that
Yeah.
makes me like, okay, this might work out is um
Yeah.
when we get home and then everyone start dancing because that so I do agree, and I would even say that not even just like cultural tolerance, but it's also like appreciation in terms of like you're not only just, and not even just appreciation, but like a genuine curiosity about like
Mm.
what's going on in other people's life, including
Mm.
their culture. So like I'm not just like asking you about um your like Ethiopia or like where you grow up and all of that just because that is what I think someone's supposed to do, or like
Yeah.
not just because as a form of respect, but like
Yeah.
I genuinely wanted to
Mm.
know.
Yeah.
um yeah, and I think of that, and I think on top of that, it's also, or at least from my side, um like you start to like care about the other person, and not only, again, like not only just because you're a human being that care about the other person, but like you're genuinely wanted
Mm.
to like care for the other person, like like
Mm.
when we're checking on each other, like where you are, if you're okay, like it's not just to be quote unquote nice, or like
Yeah.
be a nice roommate or whatever. But I think, or at least from my side, there's always that genuinity of like want to make sure that like you're okay and all of that. So
Yeah.
I think that combines just creates this I don't know, I think there's this bond of like you, like it feels like you don't even have to try, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like
Mm.
like you, I mean, of course, like you still put effort, it's not as if you're not putting effort.
Yeah.
um but it doesn't feel forced,
Mhm.
because I think
Mhm.
I remember um in the roommate website thing, I
Yeah.
in my profile I think I write like, oh, we could be friends but we don't have to, because and my expectation at that moment is just, okay, just as long as I can tolerate this person and then they can tolerate me, like that's fine,
Yeah.
just as long as we
Mm.
have a civil household, and that's fine. Like
Yeah.
I really didn't expect it that it have to turn into friendship or anything. I just, in my head, I was just like, okay, as long as we can live together, like, you
Yeah.
know co-living in
Yeah.
this space, like that should be fine.
Mm. Mm. I didn't even realize you put that. Okay. Now that we're
Wow,
we're
I
here.
guess I'm that
Wow.
forgettable. Okay, I see how it is.
No, I'm just saying because I feel like I do understand. Like you're expecting a certain level of if I get along with this person and they don't bother me, like I'm good. And I do have a lot of friends even from school who don't have that much of a close relationship with their roommates. Like they don't even see each
Yeah.
other that much. They don't go out. They don't do a lot of the stuff that we did. Um, and to be honest, like I feel like I was very fortunate enough to have that experience of having my roommates become my closest friends during the two
Mm-hmm.
years that were it's a transition time. Like we're all trying to explore living in New York, where it's so like it's such a big city that it feels so overwhelming to just even think about. But then when you have these group of people that you can like let's say like, oh, I want to go somewhere, and they're like, oh, okay, come Alda, let's go. Like I remember we used to do that so many times, and having that like safety net also, like because you don't feel like you're alone in this big city, right? Because you have someone
Mm.
with you who's willing to explore, who's willing to go to places and like experience life. And I feel like that was one of the greatest blessings, to be honest, because I feel like if I was just by myself living there, I would not have enjoyed the experience at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree, because I think like in the beginning, like I was like, like I was like anxious about like living with people, especially you're gonna be living with four other people and then we only have one bathroom.
Oh yeah, let's talk
Um
about the one bathroom situation.
yeah, which is in the beginning I was like, and I
How's that
remember
going?
at one point when we were discussing about the apartment, there was
Yeah.
an even an idea that oh, since we have such a big living room, like we can turn it into another bedroom, which is gonna be
Yeah.
6 people. Which I remember, I was like, guys, we only have one bathroom. Let's not like
Yeah.
go like if we after we moved in and we feel okay
Yeah.
with it, then maybe. But for now, let's just stick with five. Um, yeah, but it turns from that into, like you said, I also couldn't like feel that like, oh, if I was living by myself, like this would be like even more difficult. And then and in a space like New York as well, like now I cannot think about it. Like now if I can go back
Mm-hmm.
um to the city, for example, and have the option about like living with roommates or living by yourself, I probably would still choose living with roommate, just because now I'm like, oh my god, it is quite scary to living by yourself in this city.
Yeah.
um so yeah, yeah, it definitely changed perspective, which I think, again, like you said, we were really lucky about that part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um yeah, wow,
Yeah.
everyone is definitely jealous of us. Uh-huh.
um. Okay. My next question is, because dealing with roommates can be tough sometimes. How did we
Mm.
resolve conflicts when we had disagreements? Because, I mean, it's not all, what is it, rosy
Yeah,
tinted, whatever,
I mean,
all
it was all
optimistic.
rosy for me, but I don't know if
Oh,
you
okay.
said that then.
Wow. No, I mean, you said that, or actually, you're the one who brought it up. You said we did have disagreements. So I wanted to ask you, how did we resolve them?
Um, well, we didn't. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I think at least from my side, the good, or actually, this is also like, I guess, the continuation of like the previous question. Um, but the good thing about what makes it work is, I think at one point we get to the situation where we willing to compromise while also setting boundaries, in terms of like, I feel like it's at some extent like we're all feel comfortable in like asking for something, like you're willing to compromise with other people, but at the same time you're also not afraid to be like, okay, well, but this is where I draw the line, where
Mm,
I can
yeah.
ask for this thing, or like,
Yeah.
like this is my boundaries and all. And I think that's also kind of help with conflict, because
Mhm.
I think like it's nice to know that that the other person, if they don't agree with you, or like they have
Mhm.
something to say about this thing, they would say it, like I think that's
Yeah.
also kind of give you, or at least for me, like that's kind of give me a comfort that like, okay, I can say like what I have in my mind, because I know that the other person, if they disagree with me or something like that, like they will not be scared to say it as well. Yeah.
Mm, mm,
Which, again, like I think that in one way can create a conflict, but also can like resolve the conflict, because I
mm.
mean, of course, you can get in conflict because you can disagree with a lot of things, but at the same
Yeah.
time, like I said, I think it gives this, I don't know, not like sense of comfort, that like, that
Mm.
you're not holding yourself back in that way. Not that like, like, oh, like if I'm getting mad and I'm just gonna go crazy on the other
Yeah.
person, not like that. But I don't know, I don't think I'm explaining it correctly.
No, I think
um
I get it. I
yeah,
think
but
you're
it's just
you're
like,
saying that we were comfortable enough to express what was concerning to us without fear of being judged or making the other person feel disappointed in any way. Is that what you're
yeah,
trying to say?
yeah, I think so, because I think that also helps, like in a situation of conflict, because you don't have to second guess yourself, or you don't have to like second guess on what the other person think, because
Mm,
it's gonna be said, and it's you can say it
yeah.
anyway. And I think it also helped to like not just have like two people in the house, so instead we have five people. Well, it's odd number first, that's good. So it's
Yeah.
easier when we have to
Yeah.
vote for something.
Yeah.
But also like it helped it I think it also helped to have like a mediator, because I think
Mhm.
usually like if we have a conflict, like they wouldn't be like five ways, like there usually is gonna
Right.
be like two ways, right? So
Right.
like yeah, like people can help like mediate the whole situation, which I think is helpful.
Mhm.
Because I think if it's only two-person, I don't know, maybe the possibility, not the possibility of conflict will be increased, but maybe it's slightly harder because there you don't have like third person to be like, okay, facilitate whatever
Yeah.
that is. Because I remember like sometimes if like there's something between the two people, and then you're gonna have like another person trying to
Mhm.
like talk to one person, or things like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it does help to have more than two people
Mhm.
in the
Mhm.
house.
Yeah, for sure. I think the thing that comes to my mind is like, let's say, because I remember specifically like taking out the trash, for example, like there was a time in the beginning where we're like, oh, whoever would see it, that if it's full, like, it was on a voluntary basis. But then it came to a point where nobody was volunteering to take out the trash because
In
everybody
my
was
defense,
busy.
I always pick up the trash.
Yes, you do all that. But I was just the goal of this story was to say that we came up with a system where it was rotating between two people, and so then we had a set schedule. So then these two people who are
It
responsible
was
for
still
throwing
a
out the
problem
trash.
after that, though.
Okay, fine. I'm just trying to say that the problem. We tried to devise a solution for it. Even cleaning dishes or cleaning the shower. I know we hated cleaning the shower and cleaning the fridge.
Even I
Like
hate it.
exactly. But I feel like when these things happen, because I get it, like everybody had like a very, very demanding schedule. I mean, we were going to school, we're all very, very busy, and so it takes some time for you to like spend time at home and like do the things that make the home, you know what I mean? So like cleaning was a big part of it. And so I'm glad, like, at least because it was raised as an issue, like we discussed it and then we came up with a schedule of like rotation, like who would do which room and who would do what. And I think that was a good strategy to the extent that we were able to implement it, that is. But I felt like we did a good job of like, okay, addressing the situation, because I remember it was bothering me, especially like the first semester.
Yeah. Yeah, but we did that like since the first semester, though, right?
Yeah,
Did we?
but the first few months it was
Ah,
just there was no structure
yeah.
to it. Yeah. Um. Okay, my next question is, what is your favorite memory?
Oh my god, I need to look back at my notes because no, I'm kidding. Wow. I mean, it's hard to choose because I love them all.
Wow. Okay. Go on.
I Yeah, man. I think there's a lot of them, honestly. But I think the Florida trip definitely
Oh my
like
God,
have a
yeah.
special place. Yeah,
Why? Why?
that
I know you
one
always
was
bring it
really
up,
fun.
but I want to ask you why. I know you always bring up the Florida trip, but why was that so significant for you?
I think because I think I always like I do believe that you get to know a person more when you're taking a trip with
Yeah.
them. Because I remember like in the beginning, I was jokingly but also not jokingly says to everyone that I was like, this is gonna be the trip that either gonna bring us closer or tear us apart.
Yeah.
As just like yeah, because I never had any trip with anyone who's like ended up in like we're not being friends anymore. But I do agree
Yeah.
that like a trip together make it like can bring people closer, or like make you see the other side of people.
Mm.
um so yeah, I think at the end that was like our very first out of the um out of the city. Well, yeah, right,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was. It
out of
was.
the
And it was
city trip.
after like 7 months of knowing each other, we decided to go to Florida for spring
That was
break.
after 7 months?
Yeah. Yep.
No, you what? Was
Yeah,
it?
it was September, October, November, December, January, February, March. I literally just
Oh.
counted right now.
No, because
Don't
in my
believe me.
head it was like 2024. So I was like, it's been a year.
No, no, no,
Um,
no. Because we met in
yeah,
August.
yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, technically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think, yeah, because I mean, lots of things happening in there, and the trip, I mean, start with two people got sick. And then
Yep.
at one point it becomes everyone got sick, I guess. So it's up to a
Yeah.
good start.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, no, but I think I yeah, I don't know. I feel like we didn't even do much. That's also the thing. Like we
Yeah.
didn't. It's not as if like, oh, we did this crazy adventure, or like, all we did was we went to a restaurant and then another restaurant. We went to a beach. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, oh, I never done this before and then I done this with
Yeah.
these people type of
Yeah.
thing. But like in my head, I just remember we were laughing a lot. Like I didn't even remember what was the
Yeah.
conversation, but
Yeah.
we were laughing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we were not laughing, we were probably sleeping.
Yep.
So yeah, I just remember it was just being really fun, and I was like,
Mm,
oh, we should do this again.
yeah.
And then we never do. So yeah,
That's all. But yes, I think Florida really was the trip where even some of my friends were saying, "Oh my god, yeah, this trip is gonna make or break this roommate friendship that you guys have." And like, I'm like, what is going on? I was generally concerned. But we ended up sharing like an Airbnb, like one bedroom apartment for like 5 people. We made it work.
yeah.
And I remember like dancing in the beach with you at night. We have a video
That's
like
true.
running
Oh my
in
god,
the
this is
sand.
literally a love story, bro. Like
Seriously, it
dancing
is.
on the beach. Oh my
Yes.
god,
It
celebrating
was.
my birthday. I have to mention that.
Yes, we
They
had a whole
celebrate my
pillow
birthday.
fight. We had a pillow fight for your birthday. Malal even like almost like hurt my eye because she threw the entire pillow in my
Oh,
face. But
you
I
were
did.
swimming at night.
We did swim at night. Yeah. It was. I think it was a very good break from like the routine of being in
Mm.
school and like living in New York, and it definitely gave us it definitely brought us to like closer together, I would say. um and so my follow-up question is, so
Wait,
when
how
you
about your favorite
oh,
memory?
Florida for
Sorry, this
sure.
is gonna be a 2-hour podcast.
No, just like trying to no, I'm kidding. Aside from Florida, I have to choose another memory.
Yeah. I mean, is that your
um
favorite, or is it just because I said it? Because it doesn't have to.
I mean, it's like the easiest answer because I feel like
I
everybody
know.
says Florida when you ask them. To
Yeah.
be honest, I think for me, it might be a bit like self-centered, but one of my favorite memories
Your
was,
birthday.
yes, it was
I
my
can
birthday.
tell.
You know why though? It was because at first I
Because
was
you
like,
look
okay,
absolutely gorgeous. That why?
wow, I'll just stop it. No, it was because it was my 27th birthday, and I realized that the next year I have no idea where everybody's gonna be. This is probably like one of the last times that everybody is going to be together. And so I was like, oh my God, we should do a picnic at Central Park. And we were like, okay, let's do that. And then it started raining that day. And I was like, oh my God,
Mm.
what are we going to do? And then we're like, you know what? Like, let's just do it at the apartment. And so this last minute, plan turned out to be like this, gathering of, I don't know what,
Mm.
25, 30 people in the apartment. And I remember just feeling like so loved and like, oh my God, these many people came. And like, I remember looking at everybody and I was like, oh my God, I genuinely don't know where everyone's going to be next year. And so I
Oh.
was so happy that we had a reason to like get together. And then you guys had like this game and it was just like, and then we like waited until midnight. I was just like, oh my God, this is actually one of the sweetest things ever. And so I remember
I was
feeling
part of the
very,
game committee, I have to mention.
oh, wow, good job. You guys did a great job. And so I do remember that being my favorite memory. Where all of us were together. But what I was gonna ask you was, so you have this like 2 years or like a year and a half with like these people who have been your, closest friends, right? Like they've been there. But then it comes to a point where you have to leave So how do you deal with that?
I didn't. I was in denial for the longest time. Yeah, no, I mean it was definitely hard because again, I mean, so I mean I told you this already, but New York was not my first option
Yeah.
to go for school. Like I was not supposed to go to New
Yeah.
York. For the longest time I thought that I was going to go to a school in the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
But then I have a change of heart. Yeah, and then I mean because I visited New York before when I did
Mm-hmm.
my student exchange. And then that moment like I enjoy it, but I remember thinking like it's a fun city to visit, but I
Mm-hmm.
do not think that I could live here because I mean
Yeah.
I come from a small town, blah blah blah, and it's very hectic and like very busy all the time. And then I get there, and it's not as if like I was expecting to hate it because I mean I usually like I'm pretty good with like adjusting with new environment. Yeah, you can hire me please. uh,
Oh wow. Little plug for yourself right there.
yeah, if anyone
Uh-huh.
my LinkedIn, it's linked
Yep.
down below. um yeah, so it's not as if I expected to hate it, but I was just like I know that I'm gonna be okay, but I just didn't expect it to like it as much as I did. And then,
Yeah.
with the people that I met and with the roommates as well, like, I didn't expect it to like be friends with them.
Yeah.
Um so it was definitely hard because I feel like and like after 2 years you start to like establish your life in there. Like now you have a favorite
Yeah.
shop and then you have a favorite places and you have a like favorite spot at the park or whatever. Like you have all of these things and then
Yeah.
people and like like I don't have to use my map anymore if I just like go around places where I've been before.
Mm.
Um so you start to like know all of this and enjoy all of this, and then now that when the moment when you start to like feel like okay, like I feel pretty good about this, that's when you have to leave. Well, it was pretty heartbroken, I have to say. And even though I was already like mentally preparing myself,
Mm-hmm.
um because in my case like I didn't know where I was supposed to go because I was supposed to leave in December, and then it moved into okay, maybe I'll leave in January and then in February and then it ended up like becoming March. So it was like always this prolonged thing.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
I think like that's kind of helped mentally as well because I was already like, oh, I was supposed to leave in December, and then
Mm.
so it's pretty good time to prepare yourself, but even then like it was still really hard. um I think it was hard like when I was like still in the US, but I think it was much harder after you go back home, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, like I think when I was like still in the city and then seeing everyone,
Mm.
since I was the first to leave,
Oh
um
my god.
so it's like I
Yeah.
still get to see everyone. Like I think in that moment I
Yeah.
was like, oh, it's like I mean it's I know it's gonna be hard, but like I'm
Yeah.
ready, blah blah blah. Because I think people are asking me and I'm like, oh, I think I'm ready, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I think after like you get back and then that's I guess it's hitting you
Mm.
even more, and then how much you miss people, and then you miss places. And yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
I just hate it because now when like you return, like now things are new to you. Like it is like in a way like it's still the same, like it's still the
Yeah.
same city, it's still the same people. Like it's
Yeah.
not as if like oh my god, so much change. Like now this like unfortunately, Kupang is not that advanced that progress didn't happen that fast. Um, but
Mm.
yeah, but like even like I don't know, like it's not necessarily like anything physical, but it's just like it feels like you have to get
Mm-hmm.
used to
Mm.
something new again, which is at that
Yeah.
moment I was like, like
Yeah.
now this is exhausting. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially since you really like the previous one. Um,
Yeah. I
which is
know.
quite hard. Yeah. Um, so yeah, it is I think like the first 2 months at least, like it was hard.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, but then I mean when I get back I start working immediately, and I'm a big denial on like handling my problem.
Yep.
So um yeah, I guess I do not have a lot of time to reflect, quote
Mm.
unquote, on like what's
Mm.
meaning in, because then you have to like move to a new
Yeah.
life, which I think in
Mm.
a way it helps in a bit in terms of like keeping yourself busy. But
Mm-hmm.
in other way I think it also, or like it feels as if like, oh, now you have to move into a different life, like
Yeah.
now it's as if like, oh, you close one curtain and then you open a
And
new
then
one, which I think
yeah.
in that moment I was like, I don't know if like this is what I wanted to
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
Exactly.
was it was yeah, it was
Oh yeah,
difficult.
yeah.
You gotta do what
Yeah.
you gotta do.
I
How
know.
about you? Because I mean,
Ayo, no, I remember. Oh my god, I remember. Not only you were in denial, everybody else was also in denial about you leaving. Like we just wanted you to stay for as long as possible. And when we realized your time was running out, like I personally remember like just crying so much at the airport, and I was like, oh my god, like, and I called my mom, and I even cried to her. I was like, oh my god, Alda left today, and then she was like, oh my god. Like I remember like it was just so heartbreaking because it was a situation that you didn't have much say in, and like you had to leave because of immigration issues. But I think it also made me realize that it was so painful because we had so much love for each other. And I think that's also, wait, what was that, should I put that on a t-shirt?
yeah, but that in a t-shirt, it
No,
hurts because we have so much love for each other. Oh my,
yes, because I
oh,
had
they're gonna make
never.
fun of us for this.
No, exactly. But I don't remember crying at the airport ever when someone left. Like bawling like that. That was
You
the
were
first time.
kidding.
I'm not kidding. Ever. I have not cried like that when someone has
Did
left
you
to the
not
airport.
cry when you left Ethiopia? I thought you did.
No, why would I cry? I did not cry at all.
Whoa. You hear
No,
that, Ethiopian people?
I did not cry at all. I mean, it was just like I was gonna miss my parents, so it was like I hugged them, but like nobody was crying. They were like, "Yeah, go get your education." Like if I cried, they would actually be mad at me. They're like, "Why are you crying?" Like there's no like,
Yeah, I
I'm
didn't
leaving. You
cry
know
when
what I
I had
mean?
to leave as well.
Yeah, but like I think when it also made me think like, okay, so what was the point of like us being so close to each other, like living with each other for 2 years, only to experience that
Yeah.
separation in the end, which I guess that's what life is like. Every now I'm also back in Ethiopia, everybody else is probably not, and I mean we've all moved out of that apartment at this point, and so
Yeah.
it's just really hard to reconcile your feelings of like this is such a hard transition, and it was only hard because of, at least for me, how much love I had for you.
Wow. Yeah, no, but I do agree. I think I have a moment where I was like, yeah, bro, like what's the point about like making
Yeah,
friends if like at the end, like,
yeah,
you're
literally,
gonna
it
like
was
go
so
your own
painful.
way anyway,
Yeah, exactly. It
Like
was just
like
so
what's the point?
painful.
Like, oh, I shouldn't
Yeah,
have gotten close. I should have kept myself
guarded and not be vulnerable at
guarded,
all.
and yeah.
Ugh, yeah, but I'm glad we got to experience that. Okay, it's gonna, now we're wrapping up our conversation. Is there any part of, the roommate conversation that you think we didn't get to talk about?
I mean, there's a lot, but I don't think we can cover it in this podcast series. Yeah, but no, I think we cover quite
Yeah.
uh cute part of it.
Okay.
But I think the
Any?
main
Yeah.
point is
Yeah.
we love each other.
Wait, can you say that again? I don't think I heard you.
I cannot say that. I'm
I
sorry.
I I did not hear you, Elda. What was that?
I know. I was just saying that I love myself.
Oh, okay. Wow. We
Yeah.
always That's actually one of my favorite parts about you is like we would get dressed up and about to go somewhere. She's like, I look so cute.
No,
It's
but
like,
I
oh my
did
god,
though.
I'm
Like
gonna
I
go.
wasn't even like I just no, bro. I think I was just saying it to someone that like I'm sometimes like I'm scared with how much I love myself. You know, like
That's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing.
I
I love that
know.
about you. That's so good.
Because
And
I
we're like,
genuinely do
yeah,
though. Like I wasn't
that's
even
good.
like say it just
Yeah,
to
I
like
know. I know
sometimes I
you
look
were
at myself
you.
and I'm like,
Damn, I look good.
oh
I
my
mean, that's the
god,
kind of
I do look
confidence
good.
we need. Yes.
Yes.
I am so glad we had this conversation. Any advice you have for someone going to college who's, nervous and anxious about having to deal with roommates?
Well, if you have to live with 5 people with just one bathroom, don't worry, you'll be fine. But on top of that, I think to also like allow yourself to be vulnerable and also willing to ask for space in terms of um which I think sometimes I try to work on myself as well to first be vulnerable and also like willing to ask for space and help and like don't feel bad about it
Mm-hmm.
because I think that's also, or at least with roommate situation, I think that also open up like doors and like barriers that you have with each other, because like I think
Mm-hmm.
once someone is like vulnerable enough with the other people, I think that's kind of, I don't know, like bring down whatever invincible barriers that are there, that like you
Mm-hmm.
trust the other person and then accept that as from the point of view of that person who you trusted, they also see it as like, okay, you trust me, maybe I can trust you as well in that way. So yeah, I would say allow yourself to be vulnerable, and yeah,
Aww, that was
put
cute.
that in a share.
Aw, I'm
But
so
you have to
happy.
say something as well.
Go ahead.
No, you have to say something. You have to
Oh,
also
oh.
say like what's the advice that you're
Yeah, I was
giving.
able to, but thanks for asking. Um, I was going to say, honestly, yes, being vulnerable is big, and I do agree because when one person is vulnerable, you see that they trust you, and so it also encourages you to open up more. Um, and I also think that it's important to stay true to who you are as a person and like hold your values and your integrity. Because, college is a place where there's a lot of experimenting and a lot of exploring things. But if you feel like, your peer pressure is coming and like, your roommates are saying, oh, let's do this, let's do that. Like sometimes it's okay to hold your ground. You don't always have to do stuff just to be liked by people. I think that's what I would also
Mm-hmm.
say, because there would be many times where like the group would want to do something, but then sometimes like you yourself are like very um like maybe you're tired, you don't want to go out, which has happened to me a lot of times. And you know what I'm saying?
Maybe your bedtime is at 10 and
Yes, and it's just like your body has its limits sometimes, and it's important, sometimes to listen to your inner self and choose rest or whatever it may be. But I think your roommates will also be understanding enough when you decide to prioritize yourself, and self-care is very important. So I would say don't forget to listen to yourself. Yeah.
exactly.
Aww, oh my god. Okay, any last words before we end?
Not really. I think that was you closed it really well, so I don't want to like ruin the
Oh,
balance.
no,
Yeah.
please go ahead, ruin it. I generally don't mind.
No, it's okay. It's about compromising and giving space to other people. So
Wow,
the time
okay,
is
okay.
yours.
Thank you so much, Alda. This was one of the most enjoyable conversations, I have to say, that I've
Oh
had.
my
Thank you
god.
so much for taking the time to share about your experience. Um, For anybody who's listening, just a few like housekeeping items. Please make sure to go follow the official Instagram page at Internationally by Ruth, that is LIE, and send an email with your questions or concerns about being an international student to internationallybyruth@gmail.com. Thank you again for tuning in today. I hope you have a lovely week ahead of you, and take care of yourselves, everyone. Bye.
Bye bye.